Welcome to Learn It Anytime's video production series of SharePoint 1001. I'm Jim Dalton. I'll be your instructor and presenter for a series of introductory modules on what is SharePoint and how can we best manage SharePoint content and SharePoint sites. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and a SharePoint technology specialist, so I'm looking forward to communicating with you as we go through a whole series of activities. So our first training objective is to analyze what is SharePoint. Now, SharePoint is commonly referred to as a website, and as such we can type in a URL or a web address, or click on a shortcut or a link, or store the SharePoint web address as a favorite. However, SharePoint should be considered more than just a website. We should call it a portal. And as such, that means that we can access content from within a SharePoint database, or link to file shares, or even content that's stored in other databases through this one web page interface. So a SharePoint site is generally based on a template, and it has some consistent elements. This team site template that's used to build the Contoso sales site we're displaying has a quick launch area for navigation, a common set of tabs in our header area, and a display pane for content. Now, a completely different SharePoint site is Ferrari.com. So many different Fortune 500 companies have taken SharePoint and customized it, and they display their intranet and internet sites through SharePoint. So you can see that there isn't one constraint on how SharePoint needs to be defined or displayed. So in general, we talk about SharePoint as providing three services. One, collaboration. Through collaboration, we can work together on a list or in a library, and we can all work together on content at the same time. So this is a central workspace where many of us can come together and we can collaborate and contribute content into one tool, such as a calendar or a team site list. Now, another practical function for SharePoint is as a document management service or content management service. So here we can store files, whether they be documents or images or files of any type, and we can apply different tools such as versioning and restrictions or locks for editing. Now, a third utility that SharePoint can provide for us are communication services. So we have discussion areas where we can contribute and collaborate on discussion topics. We have wiki page environments, and we have blogs. And lastly, what makes SharePoint so dramatic is that all of this content is generally stored in one database, and we can associate permissions. So we can say expressly who has rights to add content or view content in SharePoint. So let's start out by looking at how we navigate in SharePoint and what would be some of the standard site items or tools that you'd find in your own SharePoint sites. I'm encouraging you also to pause the presentation and to practice on your own SharePoint team sites as we go. So the first thing, of course, is to make sure that you're in the proper SharePoint site. So you'll need to type in that URL or click your favorites or hyperlinks, and you want to ensure that you're in your proper team site. You'll likely see some sort of identification here in this top banner area, maybe a company logo or a company department name, something that should help you reference that you're in your team site homepage. Now, different accounts in SharePoint will have different permissions. In this training video, I'm a SharePoint administrator, and you can see my identity defined right here in the top right corner of your SharePoint page.